One yet may come armored, invincible, his will immobile meets the mobile hour. The world's blows cannot bend that victor head. Calm and sure are his steps in the growing night. The goal recedes, he hurries not his pace. He turns not to high voices in the night. He asks no aid from the inferior gods. His eyes are fixed on the immutable aim.
On his immutable aim.
On his immutable aim.
So what you still have to work on is the V pronunciation.
V, okay. Invincible.
And Victor.
Voice. Oh, Victor. Victor. Okay. Because I think now my head is like programmed to read the words which I've already read. When a new V comes in, it's not picking up. I think Victor I'm reading for the first time, so it's going to the old way.
Okay, good. You'll get there. You're getting there very well. Good reading, by the way. Good reading. So let us look at this. You understand what armored means?
Yeah, yeah. Like protection.
Yes, it is a protection, yes. And one yet may come. Who is that one?
Avatar.
Yes. His will, immobile, meets the mobile hour.
Okay.
So Sri Aurobindo says about the immobile, akshara, the immobile, the immutable, is the silent, inactive self. It is the unity of the divine being, witness of nature, but not involved in its movement. It is the inactive Purusha, free from Prakriti and her works. That is an interesting statement. It's essays on the Gita. So the immobile is free from all the action of Prakriti, and yet it meets the mobile hour. The world's blows cannot bend that victor head. A victor head is one who is a winner.
Winner, yeah. Who's victorious.
Yes. Calm and sure are his steps in the growing night. Of course. The goal recedes, he doesn't even hurry his pace. He doesn't have to turn to high voices in the night. He doesn't have to seek aid from inferior gods, because his eyes are fixed on his immutable aim. Immutable is not subject to change. Now, what does man do?
Man turns aside or chooses easier paths. He keeps to the one high and difficult road. That soul can climb to the eternal peaks. The ineffable plains already have felt his tread. He has made heaven and earth his instruments. But the limits fall from him of earth and heaven. Their law he transcends but uses as his means.
So there's an interesting thing here, because this is not referring to man. Only we have that semicolon. Man turns aside or chooses easier paths. Then we're back to the avatar again.
Oh, I see. Okay.
See how it changes?
Yeah.
He keeps to the one high and difficult road.
Okay.
That soul that alone can climb to the eternal peaks. And we do have Sri Aurobindo on the eternal. Would you like to read that?
Yes. I was also wondering if I must read night.
Yes, I think it's a good idea. Let's let's do that. The eternal is not very long.
Yeah, even night is not very long. It's very
No,
short.
right. Mhm.
Night, Sri Aurobindo. The night is the symbol of the ignorance or avidya in which men live, just as light is the symbol of truth and knowledge. The letters on yoga. In the way that one treads with the greater light above, even every difficulty gives its help and has its value on the night. Sorry, and its value, and night itself carries in it the burden of light that has to be. That's night, and we read eternal.
It's so beautiful, this description of night,
Mm-hmm.
because night carries in itself the light.
Yeah.
We don't realize that often.
Yes.
We've read before about the light being, how does he say it? Because God is everywhere, there is only light.
Mm-hmm. And also he says that light that has to be, because the light has to be there in everything. So, but I
Yes,
also like how he's calling it a burden of light, because it's in fact heavy on us until we reach that light. Once when we are passing, or personally when I'm passing through my own nights, until I see that light, or until that hopes come back or things clear, I'm really seeing it as a burden.
exactly, exactly.
So shall I move to eternal?
Yes,
Okay, he says the eternal as God, and then he says eternals, Sri Aurobindo, that which is cannot perish, it can only lose itself. All is eternal in the eternal spirit. Essays in philosophy and yoga. Each is the whole eternal concealed, the life divine. The eternal is our refuge. All the rest are false values. The ignorance and its mazes, a self bewilderment of the soul, phenomenal, the life divine.
yes. The ignorance and its mazes. Mazes.
Mazes, okay. The ignorant and this maze. The eternal is our refuge. All
Yes.
the rest are false values. The ignorance and its mazes, a self bewilderment.
Yeah, yeah. You have to pronounce the Z very clearly. Mazes.
Mazes,
Z.
mazes,
Z. Z.
mazes,
Yes, mazes.
mazes.
You know what a maze is, right?
Yes, I know what is a maze. Yeah,
Okay, so pronunciation has to be very strong on the Z. Maze.
mazes. Okay.
Good. Okay. So then he says the ineffable planes. The ineffable planes are planes that are incapable of being expressed or described.
Mm.
They have already felt his tread.
Mm-hmm.
He has made heaven and earth his instruments. But even though he has made them his instruments, the limits fall from him.
Mm.
The limits of earth and heaven fall from him
Mm.
because he transcends their law,
Mm.
but uses as the law as his means.
Mm.
He transcends it, he's above it, but he
Mm.
uses it as his means.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But the limits fall from him of earth and heaven, their law, he transcends. But okay, so the law or the cause and effect becomes his instrument for bringing out his avatarhood.
yes. The limits fall from him, even though he has made them his instruments.
Mm,
Their limits fall from him, not
mm,
their not the fact that they're instruments, but their limitations.
Yeah, and not the fact that it's not limitation anymore. It is his capacity which is turning it around and making it instruments.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we'll continue on.
He has seized life's hands. He has mastered his own heart. Wow. He has seized life's hands. He has mastered his own heart. The fiends of nature misled not his sight.
Okay, there's two mistakes there.
Okay.
The faints,
Faint. Okay, like FA. Faints.
yes,
Okay.
yes, the feints of nature
Faints.
mislead not.
Mislead not. Okay, it's in present, not misled. Okay.
So the feints of nature, all these, feint is deception.
Okay. Is this is the spelling different for misled? I think it's LED, right? I think so. Misled.
No, misled is LED.
LED. Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, that's what. Okay.
Mislead
Is
is the present tense.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the feints of nature do not mislead his sight.
His sight. The feints of nature. Let me just make a note that it is feints.
Yeah, take your time. This is very important.
The feints of nature misled not his
No,
sight.
mislead.
Mislead. The feints of nature mislead not his sight. What does feints mean?
Feints are deceptions.
Okay.
Let's say there are two boxers in the boxing ring,
Okay.
and one pretends he's going to hit with the left hand,
Mm.
but feints.
But comes
and
from the other one.
And it comes on the other side. So
Okay.
that's a feint.
Okay.
And these are the feints of nature that don't mislead his sight.
Mm.
And did we do nature? I guess we've done nature before.
Yes, we have done nature. Yeah.
So we continue on.
Inflexible his look towards truth's far end. Fate's deaf resistance cannot break his will.
Fate's deaf resistance. Resist.
Resist. No.
Think of resist.
Resist. Okay. Resistance.
Resist. Well, I'm going to check it out for you because we're having different pronunciations.
How do you say it? Resist.
Resistance. Okay, it's Cambridge. We'll hear the British right now.
Yeah.
Resistance. Resistance.
Resistance.
Resistance.
Resistance.
Resistance. Yes. So
Resistance.
it's not resistance, but it's resistance.
Resistance.
Go again.
Resistance.
Resistance.
Here's the American.
Resistance.
Resistance. Resistance.
Americans the same as British.
Resistance.
Resistance.
Yeah.
Resistance.
Okay.
Fate's deaf resistance. Fate's deaf resistance cannot break his will.
Yes. Very
In the
so we
dread.
have to get these lines now.
Okay.
Yeah. Inflexible. His look towards truth's far end.
Yeah.
It's inflexible. It will not give in.
Yeah.
It doesn't yield at all.
Mm-hmm.
Even the deaf resistance of fate
Mm.
cannot break his will.
Mm.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Nothing, and we've done fate before, I think, huh?
Yes. Fate, I think we have.
We've checked out because it's very important because it's karma.
I think we have. I think you have read it to me, but I have not read it myself.
Okay. All
When
right.
I mean, sometimes when you would, when I didn't have the book, I think.
Ah, would you like to read it? Because it's
Yes,
important.
yes.
Yes,
Fate.
let's do that.
Fate, that which is inevitably predetermined or preordained. Destiny, something that unavoidably befalls a person, fortune, lot. Fate,
Unavoidably. Unavoid.
unavoidably
You're
befalls a
getting that.
person.
You got it much better now. When I listen to you now, you are getting it.
Okay.
Good.
Sure, Abindo. The explanation of fate is karma. We ourselves are our own fate through our actions. But fate created by us binds us. For what we have sown, we must reap in this life or another. Still, we are creating our fate for future, even while undergoing old fate from the past in the present. That gives a meaning to our will and action and does not, as European critics wrongly believe, consist a rigid or sterilizing fatalism.
Constitute.
Constitute a rigid and sterilizing fatalism. But again, our will and action can often annul or modify even the past karma. It is only certain strong effects called utkata karma that are non-modifiable. Here too, the achievement of spiritual consciousness and life is supposed to annul and give the power to annul karma. I think I want to underline that.
Annul or give the power. Not and give the power.
Okay. Or give the power to annul karma. For we enter into union with the divine will, cosmic or transcendent, which can annul what it had sanctioned for certain conditions, new create what it had created. The narrow fixed lines disappear. There is a more plastic freedom and wideness.
Plastic.
Neither karma, plastic, plastic freedom and wideness. Neither karma nor astrology, therefore, points to a rigid or even or to a rigid and forever immutable fate. Fate is God's foreknowledge outside space and time of all that is space and time shall yet happen. What he has foreseen, power and necessity work out by the conflict of forces. Essays, Divine and Human. This is the great truth now dawning on world, that will is the thing which moves the world and fate is merely a process by which will fulfills itself.
Beautiful. You're missing a lot of little words. I think you're reading
Okay,
a little too fast.
okay.
See, this is the great truth now dawning on the world.
Mm,
You can't miss things like even the article the or
mm, okay.
okay, good. So you read a little bit slower and let's go over this a little bit because this utkata karma is a
Yeah.
very, very challenging thing.
Mm,
I guess there are certain karmas where it's necessary for the soul to go through something and that can't be changed.
mm-hmm,
So, what that is, I don't know, but there can be many things in the past that a soul has to go through.
mm,
Mother did say that Stalin did not have a soul, but she didn't say that Hitler did not have a soul.
mm,
So maybe he has to go through so many things before the evil that he has done can be erased.
But how can a body exist without soul, Narad?
How can a body exist without soul? No,
Yeah.
it's you see, when the human body dies, the psychic being in it does not die.
Yeah.
And if there's a strong mind, it sometimes attaches itself, or a purified vital sometimes attaches itself. So when that psychic being incarnates again in another human body, it carries with it that past, and that's what Sri Aurobindo is telling us here.
Yeah.
It carries with it. Now, but it does not constitute, as European critics say, this fatalism that once you've done a thing, you're going to have to pay for it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because he says the divine will, the will divine. For we enter into union with the will divine.
Mm.
You said divine will.
Ah, okay. The will divine.
Cosmic or transcendent, which can annul what it had sanctioned for certain conditions, new create what it had created.
Mm.
So you see, karma is a totally different thing than the West understands it.
Yeah. But even for that matter, which the East understands, I mean, the larger audience, I think, because
Well, that's
it
true.
is only after coming to across these texts and even some other texts that I have truly uh, become aware that uh, things are not like as per fate, or things are not always predetermined. Only if you're unconscious it becomes fate and
Yeah,
predetermined. But if we are
yes.
conscious and aligning with the divine, and or uh, in absorption of divine, then it is different.
Even aspiring
Yeah.
towards to be conscious of the divine
Divine. Yeah.
will help to break the karma of the past
Mm.
and will change the karma of the present.
Mm. But I'm still curious, how can a body exist without soul? In Stalin's case, maybe we come discuss that matter another time.
Well, yeah, I think so. But basically, you can say that there are nether gods, there are dark gods,
Mm.
and they could project a body
Ah,
without a soul for an evil
okay,
purpose.
okay. One
What
yet may come armored, invincible. His will immobile meets the mobile hour. The world's blows cannot bend that victor head. Calm and sure are his steps in the growing night. The goal recedes. He hurries not his pace. He turns not to high voices in the night. He turns not to high voices in the night. He asks no aid from the inferior gods. His eyes are fixed on his immutable aim. Man turns aside or chooses easier paths. He keeps to the high he keeps to the one high and difficult road that soul can climb to the eternal's peaks. The ineffable plains already have felt his tread. He has made heaven and earth his instruments. But the limits fall from him of earth and heaven. Their law he transcends, but uses as his means. He has seized life's hands. He has mastered his own heart. The feints of nature mislead not his sight. Inflexible his look towards truth's far end. Fades dead, fades deaf. Resistance cannot break his will.
Very good. Very good. Hmm. You read a little bit slower. You concentrated on the words.
Mm,
You concentrated on the difficult words when they came up.
that's true.
And I'm catching all of this, and it's very good.
It's amazing your attention for detail. When I met Nilisha, this was what I was also sharing with her. Your attention for detail is impeccable.
Thank you.